What's up, guys? I'm on my name is Eugene. I am an attorney, and hopefully you're seeing me on YT, FB, and TT. What's up, YT? How are you? What is up, guys? What is up, guys? I'm here. Thank you on TT for showing up. I appreciate it. I am here on YT and FB. Hopefully, if you're on YT, let me know that you hear me and see me. If you're on FB, let me know that you see me and hear me loud and clear. Oh, forgot Jazz Man. Thank you. I always forget that, right? Can't have it playing. They get upset. So thank you. You can someone in the chat wants to know, can you get your someone in the chat wants to know if you can lower your alimony. Yes. You can get your alimony. Thank you for that, Renee. You can get your alimony or your child support lowered based on certain situations, right? If your income goes up or if it goes down, you can have your child support changed or your alimony. Now, alimony is harder to get changed than child support. It's a tougher thing to get alimony changed, but you should get a lawyer to do that. It is raining. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. YT, thank you, YT. I love it. Thank you. Guys, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, gonna try to be here on my YT channel and my FB channel. And if you have a good question, I try to answer it. If you need some personal attention, you go to my link and you can find a way to book a call. I am from Eastern Kentucky. I'm a hillbilly. Come on, guys. Tap, tap. Thank you, all you TT viewers out here. YT, FB. Guys, share the screen. Let's get some activity going. I love Knott County. I'm there actually quite a lot. What's up, Terry? If you're looking in on me from YT or FB, the better questions can be asked on YT or FB. It gives you more space to ask a question. Thanks for the follows, guys. Subscribe. If you like what I'm doing, go on over. You can file a quadro. It's not at the courthouse. Someone wants to know, can they file a quadro? You can file a quadro. That should be part of your divorce. That should be part of your divorce. A quadro is done at the company that has the retirement fund. It's done at the employer's HR department. There is no one quadro. Every company has their own quadro. Every company has their own quadro. You gotta understand that or you're gonna be screwed. There is no one quadro, and that should have been done during your divorce. That's always done part of the divorce process. Guys, thank you very much for the activity. I appreciate it. The views considerably go down when I go onto this other stream for some reason. I'm not sure why. I don't think TT likes this platform that I'm using. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, I never did hear back about the jurisdiction. Never did hear back. Guys, thank you very much. If a robotic needle broke off in your stomach, no. The only way someone wants to know said they had a robotic needle break off in their stomach. What's up, Barbara? If you didn't have any harm, if you didn't suffer any harm, you're probably not gonna be able to sue. I do take child I'll talk to you about your child SSI case. It is always smart never to talk to the police. What's up, Beers? Guys, check me out on my YT and FB. Guys, give me a shout out if you're looking in on me from YT. What's up, guys? My court hearing is 9 o'clock. Plenty of time. I stay as busy as I wanna be. I have I have a custody issue today. Thank you. So, good question, good question. Someone in my YT feed wants to know said they were married 45 years and wants to know if they're entitled to any of the retirement. Yes. That long of a marriage would certainly entitle you to some, if not most, if not at least half of the retirement. Yes. You've been married that long. But now that's one of those things that can be bargained, right? You bargain a lot of that stuff. So you have to bargain for it. You got to make sure you have a good lawyer that will try to bargain and get most of that money for you. Now, you don't always get it, but there's certain situations. If you stayed home to take care of kids, if you gave up your life to manage the homestead, then that's one of the things that qualifies you for alimony. Yes, you should be able to get at least half. Now, if you have a retirement, there's a little swapping that might go on. If you have a public defender, someone in the chat wants to know what to do if you've got a bad public defender. If you have a bad public defender, what you should do is notify their supervisor. Notify their supervisor. Let them know that there's a conflict and that you need another lawyer. No, I don't do any medical malpractice. You're welcome, Diane. Let everybody know that I'm here on YouTube. Um, yes, I do a lot of reviews of documents. If you want me to look at your contract, Well, FB, thank you very much for following me on FB. I'm trying to grow my following on FB and YT, so share me out with your friends. I'm here on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so let your friends know. You can ask a better question. You can ask a longer question on FB and YT. That's the benefit of FB and YT. You got a little better interaction. You can ask a better question. An employer can lay you off if you're not bilingual. They don't have to hire you. Yes. Someone asked if you can be fired if you don't speak Spanish. Yes. So thank you very much for that YouTube following. I'm trying to build my channel, so guys, come on over. If you really have a good question, it's better to ask it over on one of those other 2 platforms. If you didn't That's a good question. Someone in the chat wants to know, can they still get alimony 2 years after they divorce? Probably not. Alimony is one of those things that you have to negotiate before you sign your divorce settlement agreement. You can't just wait 2 years and then generally, no. That's something that you have to do during the divorce process. You should have already worked that out. In some states, you do not. That's a good question. Someone wants to know, do you have to be married to get alimony? In some states that have common law marriage, no, you don't have to be married in order to get those benefits. Well, if you haven't the follow-up question is that's why I like these other 2 platforms. TT don't let you give enough space. So there's a follow-up to that question. If you're not divorced, yes, you can still do it. Even though you've been separated, you're still entitled to that alimony. Get that damn divorce. If you've been separated for 2 years, get the daggone divorce. There's no reason not to. Michigan does do alimony. I don't know of any state that does not do alimony. Someone said they thought Michigan don't do alimony. I don't think that's correct. I don't know any state that does not allow alimony. Or they might not call it alimony, but they might call it something else, but they do allow it. I don't know. I would probably try to work an extra job. I do a lot of criminal defense work. Yes. Someone in the Someone in the chat said that Texas is common law marriage. Even though it's Someone wants to know if an employee fails a drug test. Uh, can you be laid off? Yeah, you can be laid off. They can decide to do whatever they want to do. I think the question is, can they keep them or can they lay them off? An employer can use a urine screen to do anything they want. But if they have a policy about urine screening, they need to follow their policy. If they don't follow their policy, they're going to get in trouble. Yeah, an employer generally has the upper hand on most all that stuff. Stay clean. Like, how hard is that? Like, how hard is that to say no, especially if you got a family to take care of? I mean, how hard is that? Someone wants to know if I'm married. Yeah, 41 years, 4 kids, 10 grandkids. I have 4 kids unless you count Alexandra. I know a lot about addiction. I'm a certified addiction counselor. Someone in the chat trying to bust my balls said I said something wrong. No, no, no. No, no, I know quite a bit about addiction. Pardon me. She is a good woman, and she has a high tolerance for stupidity. Someone someone wants to know, there's a follow-up on YT on a discussion about an employee drug urine screen. Yeah, they could listen, they can use those screens however they want. In most states, you can be fired for any reason. So sometimes, and this is a hard reality, even if you fail a urine screen, that employer might think that you're so valuable that they're willing to put up with it. So they can do whatever they want to. I know it doesn't make sense, particularly if you're the one that got fired and you were clean, but that's just the way it is, man. But if I was that employee and I was fired or dismissed, and if it's a big company, there might be another reason that they could sue that employer. What's up, Miss Tanya? How are you? Thank you guys for looking in on me on the YT, FB, and the TT. Thank you very much. Guys, it is Wednesday. There's a lot happening today. If someone wants to know in the chat, I always get this question, what's the statute of limitations on XYZ problem? Listen, usually in an employee-employer situation, if you're working a job, you should always assume that the statute of limitation is 1 year. In any kind of case you have, you should assume that the statute of limitations is 1 year. If you assume it's 1 year, then you're gonna be good. Some statute of limitations are 2 years, some are 3, it just depends. But assume it's 1 year, and you'll be okay. Yeah, well, they can't write a law. The government generally laws aren't built to dictate what someone does with their company. If you have a company and someone in the YT chat is a little upset that it seems unfair, and it is unfair, it seems unfair. If you're given a urine screen and someone else next to you is given the same screen and they fail and you don't, and then you get let go, that doesn't seem fair, but that's just the way it is. That is the way that it works sometimes. Like I said, I have seen companies. We used to have a company. What's up, South Carolina? I used to own a couple of companies that did urine screening for other companies. And a lot of employers would talk to me about that very issue. They would ask me, "How can I keep an employee that failed a urine screen?" And there are ways you can keep employees even if they fail urine screens. You have to put them under a higher level of scrutiny. You should make sure that they attend some type of extra class for help because it can get you in trouble. If you're an employer and you keep someone on your job site that has failed urine screens, and if they get hurt or if they hurt somebody else, you could be in trouble. So I have had a lot of employers ask me, "How can I keep someone even though they failed?" And I usually will work up some type of a plan so that way they can keep that person and avoid any extra liability. But it happens, some employees are just more valuable. That's just the way it is. That's why you look at all these sports teams and athletics. You see some players get in trouble and they get kicked off a team, and other players who probably do worse things, they don't get kicked off because they're more valuable. The more valuable you are, the more tolerant an employer is going to be. That's the way it works. And it sucks, but that is the way it works. That's a good question over here on the YT. Thank you very much for that. I mean, it's a reality of life. There's a book called Animal Farm, and at one point, I think it's the pig that said we're all created equal, just some are more equal than others. I think I'm paraphrasing that, but that's a good thing to understand. Get it through your head. We're all created equal, but some are more equal than others, and that's tough to swallow sometimes. That's it, Renee. It's a really good book. Yeah, baby, I'm sorry. Whoever's going through this problem, this employment problem, it sucks because it don't make sense and it's hard to reconcile in your head. A lot of that stuff is just awful hard to reconcile. So, guys, if you looking at it's a very good book. Animal Farm. It's an allegory. Yeah, guys, if you're looking at my shirt back here, I've got a couple of shirts. Take a look at my take a look at my merchandise page. Take a look at my page, and I've got a merchandise page. You can book a call. Guys, I have 4 books too on my link. Take a look at them. I have a book on how to deal with debt collection. I have a book on how to, it's called The Laws of Addiction and Recovery. It's a good roadmap to recovery. I have a book on how to write grants. If you're a small businessman or person and you're looking to expand a business or start a business, you can do it with a grant. We are right now writing a grant. Myself and my daughter, my wife, we write grants. I've written over $20 million worth of state, federal, and local grants. What's up, Mary Lee Bowen? Thank you guys for the follow. Please hit that follow button. If you're looking at me on YT, if you're looking at me from YT, please do me a favor and subscribe. Hit that notification button, guys. Thank you for the follows. I'm getting all bunch of follows. Whenever I get a follow, there's a mini explosion that goes off in my head. So thank you for that. And if you like what I do, guys, one last thing. Thank you. Oh, almost 150. Thank you, Elizabeth. I almost have 150,000 followers on my TT channel, guys. Let's see if we can get to 150. I know we ain't getting there today, but when you see one of my videos, if you're out there on YT land or FB land, move it along, make some comments, interact with it, and then send it to your friends. Nathaniel, I didn't get the spam. I don't know. um, Mary Lee Bowen. There's a lot of Bowens from where I live in Kentucky. What's up, Sue? Thank you, Amy. Sorry, guys. I've talked a lot this morning already. Thank you, guys. You got me a subscription. Guys, subscribe on my YT. It's free. If you're a super fan, you're a super fan on my TT channel, I'm going to be doing counseling at 9:30. Counseling at 9:30. And if you're a super fan, you get to listen in on. Yeah, this time of year, allergies suck. I mean, I have seemed like I have them perpetually. I suspect. Thank you, Mary. Yes, Alexandra, I'll probably be on this afternoon. Yeah, you get out and get it, baby. I'm gonna work out after I get done with all my stuff. Today is just body weight. Good morning, guys. Earl Grey tea. Mary, getting a grant. All right, have fun, Alexandra. To get a grant I don't like grants for personal property. They're harder to do. Generally, if you want to do some home repair, you might consider looking in, like a lot of your utility companies and stuff will have grants for home improvements. So I would kind of look at there in your local community-based organizations. They may have grants available to do, repairs for you. Depends on what income guideline you are. A lot of those are given to low income families. So I would look there. Guys, thank you for looking in on me this morning. Well, no, Mary Lee, there might be other. I would contact my local, like your food stamp office. They're called different things, community-based services and stuff. I would contact those, and I would contact the electric company just to ask them if they've got any home improvement grants available. They almost always have a lot of stuff like that. Your local area might have stuff. You just gotta spend a little time and call. You gotta actual call people. And, "What's up, Tina? How are you?" From TT. Tina from TT. Guys, you can follow if you're looking in on me. I appreciate that. Um, if you're looking in on me from YT or FB, let me know you're in the house. Yeah, Habitat may. They do. What's up, Inside Zone? Hollering at me from TT. Thank you, guys. I think I've had all my protein for the day. Bacon, 1 egg, a protein shake. I think I'm good the rest of the day. Today will be a low calorie day since I didn't exercise, since I didn't run. I don't. Yeah, there's all kinds of grants out there, but I'm just saying if you're specifically looking. Oh, Mike, you're blessing us, buddy. Your your best bet is to contact your local community-based services organization. I always tell people to go to the food stamp office because they know where all that money is. You can contact a big church, contact churches. There's a lot of places you can go and ask if they have any grants available for home improvements. Not necessarily improvements because they're not going to improve your home, but they will, like for weatherization, weather stripping. A roof might be a good one. I mean, I don't know, but you just got to invest some time and call. If you invest a little time calling, then you're only out your time. And if you ain't working, then time is all you got. Yeah, Habitat. There's a lot of chatter here on my TT channel about Habitat. Yeah, Habitat's a wonderful organization. We had a really big Habitat build here in Pike County, Kentucky. Um, and that was when Jimmy and Rosalind Carter were very active in Habitat. They came to our town and built, they had a build specifically for single mothers, and I had a very good friend that was lucky enough to get one of those houses. So, yeah, they came up here to our town and built a bunch of homes, and a lot those homes are still there today. Yeah, Jimmy Carter started it, but and him and Rosalind came up here actually, not him, Rosalind came up here and, spearheaded the build for young ladies, and, I know a lady that actually got one of those homes, and she used to work for me, and then she applied and got one of those homes. I was real tickled for her. I went up there and met Rosalind and just shook her hand, never really sat down and talked to her. I'm in Pike County, Ben. Yes, Pike County, Kentucky. Yep, I am here in Pike County. Pikeville, Kentucky. Yes, indeedy. How are you doing, Melanie? Are you the same Melanie that won our trivia last night? Oh, I love Elkhorn City, a beautiful little town. Although the leaders there in Elkhorn have not done you any favors. They have allowed that town. They've done a lot of stupid things which have not been good for the tourism there. And tourism could be great. Oh, Melanie's in the chat over here in YT. And boy, I'll tell you what, she just took everybody's money last night. We played trivia last night. And boy, she was this 2 weeks in a row. Melanie Melanie was smoking it, and yes, last week she did. She kicked everybody's ass last week. It's fun. Oh, well, she took my money. Yeah. Yeah, the little Oh, no, Melanie, pour it on it, baby. That's what it's there. I love competition. I love it. We got some good ones. Anthony is usually good. We had another fella that didn't show up last night. He's usually quite good. What the heck is his name? There's another fella that's on the shows up, and he is very, very good. And Elizabeth does real well. My daughter actually does real well. Um, so thank you, Jimmy James. Oh, gonna cover our bills. I bet Anthony got that one. Anthony and Renee are on the spot. Yeah, the guys, if you have a real good question, you go on over to my YouTube and ask it or Facebook. You can ask a good, full, complete question. I think a lot of times, yeah, I noticed that too, Anthony. Um, Most of these people that do that spamming, they're so good at copying and pasting, they'll have 3 or 4 people in before you even get hold of it. It's very annoying. I would love to talk to one of those people that do that just to see how the hell they do the thing they do. It's quite amazing. Mary Lee Mary Lee, get after it, get that book, it's good now, baby, it's good, you'll get you some information. It's got everything you need. It's a very good bake. Today for breakfast, I had some bacon, I had a Premier, I had 1 boiled egg. I think Mary Yeah, that guy's he's almost a scammer all by himself. I'm gonna call him out. I think he's a scammer, but he thinks he's helping people by uncovering scams. And actually, if you ever buy his app, he's a scamming you. Um, uh, does it work? Those people do that because I'm sure at some level it works. I'm sure some people in their chat when they tag them hook them up and there it's just I don't understand. It must work or they wouldn't be doing it. That's one of those things when you see, you always ask yourself a question, does anybody really fall for it? That's right, it does work. You think if they get 1 in 1,000, so what? Yeah, Doc Compton. Yeah, and I'm gonna throw him out here on Front Street, yeah. You if you subscribe to his app, you cannot unsubscribe. He makes it very hard for you to unsubscribe, and that's almost a scam. He talks you into getting that app, and you cannot unsubscribe, and he was very rude. I unsubscribed, and he was just an asshole. He was really an asshole. Question, because I got the app because I really liked it. I like his stuff, but I couldn't navigate his app. With my vision, it made it difficult for me to navigate it, and thank you very much for that. So when I tried to unsubscribe to his app, he got on there personally and was tried to attack me, question, because he said, "Why are you canceling my app?" And I said, "Because my vision is not good." And I said, "I cannot navigate that app." And then he responded, "Well, you didn't have any problems setting up a profile." Like, well, I had somebody else do that, dumbass. That's what I sent back. I said, "Do you not realize I had somebody do that for me?" And he was just a real dick about it. So I canceled him on my credit card. He didn't like that either. "What's up, white chocolate? How are you?" Yeah, he's I guess he took it personally. Oh, I love the Bengals. Yeah, I guess he took it personally. Yeah, he didn't like the chargeback. I mean, he got real angry, but I tried to cancel it and I couldn't. His platform, he purposefully makes that app hard to cancel. And he threatened to sue me, and I told him, "Go ahead and sue me. I work for free." It's Earl Grey. Oh, I've been a Bengals fan since 1971. Yeah, I go way back. Kenny Anderson. He was gonna sue me for the chargeback. I told him, "Go right ahead. I work for free." Yeah, but he's just an ass and just an ass. I liked him until he did that. He really showed his colors. I Doc Common, Earl Grey. I don't know what brand it is. Yeah, I thought yeah, and she can't sing worth a lick. She tries to sing, and I like her. She seems up to be a little more palatable, but I liked him until he just really showed his colors, and I thought if he is that hard up to where he's doing that on a canceled subscription, if he's that hard up, something must be wrong. He ain't making the kind of money he thought he was gonna make on that app. Oh, she's terrible singer. She's not a good singer, but she dolls herself up and everything. No, she's terrible, Judy, but she thinks she is. She was out bragging about how she was invited to, uh to some kind of TikTok festival, and, and then she got on and crying how she couldn't make the festival because there was a mistake. She said there was a mistake, and she was crying legit tears on one of her TikToks about how she got confused how someone signed her up in a different category. I'm like, "Come on, lady." You're hearing a hillbilly accent. Someone wants to know, "Yeah, I'm from Kentucky. I'm a hillbilly. I've moved around a lot when I was little. My dad moved around a lot." How that and I don't even know her name. Doc Compton's wife, but he just seems such a turd. Family court family court, it depends on the issue. Vanessa, that's it. She's very pretty, and I like her. She's very pretty, but she can't sing. S Someone needs to tell her she can't sing 'cause she's embarrassing herself. Yeah, um, I do a lot Shania Twain, yeah, there's nothing. No, someone made the comment that family court where 90% of the women win. That's not true. Family court is really based on facts. Family court, I see a lot of men win family court cases. Yeah, she has that echo t I guess it tries it you get a good microphone, it can hide a lot of your problems, but she gets all dolled up and everything. Full custody's hard to get, but you can do it, just depends on your circumstances. Full custody is tough. It's a bigger burden. I have a family court case, a hearing today, it's just on discovery. It's a no hearing, there's nothing. It's way easy to get 50-50. The law most state laws prefer 50-50. So, math, how where was you at last night, buddy? We were just talking about trivia. We got a fella in the chat here, guys, Math Josh. He shows up and is a really good trivia. Grants are not paid back. Certain grants are not paid back. I never applied to a grant that I have to pay back. I've written over $20 million worth of. It would be a whole lot easier to win, yes, to your custody if the absentee parent, yes. If you have an absentee parent in your life, it's always easier, but you should immediately, when they've gone more than 6 or 7 months without seeing a child, you should always go to court, file a petition, and do that. And if it's been 3 or 4 years since they've not seen a child, get their rights terminated because if you don't, they could pop back up in your life and get to see that child. I would terminate someone's rights if it's been a couple of years. That way you don't have to worry about them coming back into your life. I see that happen a lot. I write a lot of grants, yeah. We're writing one now. So, thank you for the share on FB. Thank you very much, Sue. If you that's a good question. Someone in the chat wants to know that can you move if you have your child and you've already been divorced? If you move out of the state or if you move a certain amount of miles away, every state's a little different, every divorce decree is different. Some divorce decrees put it in the writing that you cannot move unless you go to court. Most state laws have it on the books that if you want to take a child out of the jurisdiction, then you have to go to court and ask. And when you do that, you have to convince the court that it's in the child's best interest that you move away. So that's the thing you have to convince the judge child's best interest. You go to my link, someone wants to know how to get some personal time, go to my link. If you click on it, about the 5th button down, you'll see a button that says book a call. I also have merchandise, guys. You see one of my shirts hanging up here. I got some mugs. I got a really neat mug right here. I'm gonna show it on YouTube because I have the reverse images off right there. Right there, guys. That's there what it says. Got a mug. You can put that on a shirt, put it on a hoodie, put it on a shirt, put it on a hoodie. Uh, I tried to reverse the image on my iPad. Now that well, you still should go get court intervention on that. If you're going to move and you got the child, you should always ask the court and let them know a job is a good reason. Uh, and once you get a letter from your employer, that should be easy to do. Thank you. Someone else on my FB. Thank you for that on the YT, hopped over from TT. Thank you. I like my YT and FB channels. You can ask a longer question. Now, there's not as much activity, but, I get a lot of questions from TT, and if you like to just listen to information, YT is a good way just to sit and listen, and if you wanna ask a question, it gives you a better chance to ask a longer question, and I'm trying to build that following over there. Someone else on the TT asked a good question, and I did not, I can't remember it. Guys, and I am visually impaired, so I have these headphones on. You can probably hear a little bleed over of the questions um, on my YT channel. I I'm visually impaired, so I can't see these comments now. Ah, yes, okay. The question is, someone here in the chat is in charge of Veterans Memorial, and it has fallen into disrepair, and they're looking for money to fix that. Now, that is something maybe one of your VFWs or one of those little local organizations may have some money just for that type of grant situation. The Veterans Affairs, they have a big website. I would go on that website and see if they have any grants available for that type of things specifically. And that might be one of the things that your local county government or your municipality, your municipal government may have available for you to do that. American Legions would be another one someone offered up in the chat. That's true. I would search out those very local organizations, and then I'd get on a website and look. Um, Now you gotta be careful when you look for grants. You're gonna get I never just do a request for a grant in a Google search because 'cause you're gonna get a lot of people trying to take your money. So you go right to the primary source. Go to a veterans page, go to, one of those organizations, those statewide organizations that support veterans and look on their page and see if they have grant opportunities. But your best bet would be your local organizations because it's local, especially if it's a memorial that's visited by a lot of people. If it is visited by a lot of people, then that increases your chances of getting money to get it fixed. Yeah, my book is full of that. That shows you if you have a business, it's the best way to expand your business because you're not really putting anything on hold. you do those grants, you're still working your business. And the trick about a grant, if you're already in business and you're trying to expand your business, is to try to find a niche that is not being fulfilled. Like I helped a lady get a grant a couple of years ago. She had a dry cleaning service and she wanted to find a way to expand her business. And so we looked at some grants that allowed for her, and it was veterans, that allowed for her to do outreach to the veteran population specifically, to go into their home and clean, did a cleaning and a dry cleaning service. So that was a way for her to find a little niche within the work that she did, and she actually got 1 grant, I think it might have been for $15,000 to service 3 or 4 people. So there's always ways. You just gotta think about what you do and how you can, find a way to be eligible for some of these grants. But she had a dry cleaning and a house cleaning service, and she wrote the grant to specifically care for the veteran population. And so what she did, she didn't have to compromise any of the stuff she was already doing. In fact, she was doing that. She was just trying to find a way to get paid for it. So there's a lot of ways you can. But my book, I think it's a good, solid, basic, um, knowledge book. If you don't have any knowledge about grants or what they are. Good morning. How are you? Kaylee. Is that right? Kaylee? Thank you, Kaylee. That is my you're on FB. Thank you very much for that. Okay, you got a different TT. Okay, I got you. A lot of people, when I see them on these other platforms, they got a different name. Thank you, Faye. Yeah, someone wants to know what type of an attorney I am. I'm a general practice attorney. If you've had an automobile accident, I get 20%. If you have a friend or a family member that's gotten into a wreck. Oh, that's your real name? Okay. I've noticed that a lot of people use their real name on FB, but don't do it on YT or TT, which is I don't know why. I guess FB is more personal and people use their real name. Um, so if you've had an automobile accident or you know someone and they were hurt, and there was insurance and it wasn't their fault, I only get 20% when I settle. That's all that I want. So you can put more money in your pocket, keep that bit of information in your head, and you holler at me. You can always send me an email if you've had an automobile accident. I need to see the police report. Um, Also, I'm working with the Mark Lanier Law Firm. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of them. Oh, you hide from your family on the other apps. Yeah. That's funny. That's a good way to do it, I guess. So, well, tell your family I'm on here. Share it out to them. Let's talk. So I also work with the Mark Lanier Law Firm, and we're looking for individuals who've been injured because of asbestos exposure. Mesothelioma, he is the best in the country when it comes to asbestos. Thank you very much for that. Someone is over here on YT to help me with my watch hours. Thank you very much. I need 4,000 hours of watch hours over in YT to get myself monetized. Now, whatever that means. Court is at 9 o'clock today, and it's a small hearing. I'm gonna post up and go on. You all will hear me. You won't be able to see anything, but it is at 9 o'clock today. Um, it's just a very simple hearing. It's a discovery hearing. a very, very simple hearing. It won't take long. I filed a motion for discovery. No, I'm available anywhere. If you've had an automobile accident, I can go anywhere. I've settled automobile accidents in 17 different states. And I love what I do. And if you know anybody that's been diagnosed with asbestos related cancer, usually if you've worked in the oil fields, shipyard, you've worked in the automotive industry, if you've been at work in the construction industry, particularly demolition, we can help you with your asbestos. Mark Lanier is the best in the country when it comes to that. He just won a huge multi-million dollar settlement against some social media companies. Very he welding is a big one for asbestos, absolutely. Someone in the chat is adding all that. Yes, all of those, and let me tell you something about asbestos. You probably might not know that you were affected until about 40 years later. Sometimes it can take 40 years for that asbestos exposure to percolate up as a cancer. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Magnum. Sorry, baby. Ah. Oh, I see you now, Magnum. I gotcha. Thank you. Sorry about that. I got you. So, we do a lot of stuff, guys. Okay, someone in the chat says someone was hit by a motorcycle. Yeah. Now, the problem with motorcycles is there's a lot of motorcycles that drive without insurance. So if they had insurance and she was hurt, let me know. Hopefully, you got a police report. There probably was a police report. I'd be happy to look at that case if you wanted to send me an email. I would look at it. I see a lot more motorcycle accidents because people are driving more motorcycles, it seems, though, because of fuel prices. Oh, a car hit the motorcycle. Ouch. Yeah, well, then there probably was insurance out there. And if it was proven that it was the driver's fault of the car, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you related to the person that was on the motorcycle? I'm sorry if you were. Oh, that sucks. Ouch. People don't look out for motorcycles the way they should. Thank you, Kelly. Giving me a hard time. Come on, guys. That's not hard to do. Okay, now I'm confused. You did confuse me, Kelly. Uh, is it Kelly? Yeah, you did confuse me. I don't know who's hurt now. Now, obviously someone passed away, and the car hit the motorcycle. So I'm assuming the cars might have some liability out there. I thought the car was hit by a motorcycle. That appears not to be the case. So I'm gonna try to get. Ouch, that sucks. Yeah. So you see that a lot. They said the car that hit the motorcycle does not have insurance, and that sucks. That's why you should always carry your uninsured, underinsured motors. I can't say it enough. I talk about it here all the time. About a third of the people that you pass on the roadway either have no insurance or not enough insurance. Uh, So if you are driving, you should always have uninsured motors because people don't. That just sucks. A lot of people drive without insurance, so you need to protect yourself. You should always protect yourself. God, I'm surprised not many trolls today. I'm looking into my Zoom, getting this thing ready. I always hate doing the Zoom on my phone because I'm just not real good at my phone. It's very small. Welcome to Zoom. 8:48. She is saying that a motorcycle was hit by a car. The operator of the motorcycle, who is unrelated to her, did not make it. Her niece was passenger and is in recovery. Yeah, but if they didn't have insurance, yeah, I think I got that. Thank you for the clarification. If there's no insurance out there and the passenger is always not at fault. So if there was insurance on the part of the driver of the car, she can get money. If she's related to the passenger, if there was insurance on the driver of the car, she can collect some money. So Barney, what the hell is that about? So I'm going to, here it is. Yeah, Pike Family Court. She said the at-fault vehicle was not carrying insurance at the time of the accident. Yeah, the at fault. If yeah, I mean, I hear that a lot, and it sucks. If you ever been in a car wreck, I was in a very bad car accident, broke a lot of bones, um, in my chest, My collarbone lacerated my liver. I didn't walk for about 2 months. It sucks. Unfortunately, everybody had insurance, but you only get to collect as much as the insurance. I had over $1 million worth of medical expenses, 1.2 million in medical expenses. So I've got my hearing up here. Yeah, I have a hearing here in just a little bit, about 5 minutes, 8 minutes. It's always sitting around waiting for a hearing always makes me a little nervous. I'm always wondering if my technology is going to screw up or thanks for the share, guys. Share the screen, follow, and if you have a legal question, you can holler at me. I can hear the rain. It's the kind of day you don't want to get out of the house, which is good. After I get done here, I'm going to go in and um, there's some things I'm going to try to do. We're going to get ready to leave, go back down to Florida. Yeah. God, man. Yeah, we'll probably stay until when we get down there in June. We'll probably stay till September. I mean, I don't really know. Um, we've got. Yeah, Zoom always bothers me. Thank you very much for saying hi in FB. Thank you very much. No, we haven't. If you want to book a call, I can talk to you about that executor issue. I mean, it's tough. You got to make sure you file the right paperwork. Always, it's the paperwork that gets people in trouble with those estates. It's the paperwork. Sorry about that. April, you have to book a call through my page, through my link in my profile. Yeah, estates are a pain in the rear end. I don't really like to do them. Yeah, Zoom depositions I don't really like. Even when I do a Zoom deposition, I want my client in my office. I want to do it from my office. Oh, F Magnum, thank you. You did move over. What's up, Joanne? Yeah, Sue. I like contracts. I do like family law, and I really like car wrecks. Car wrecks are they're not real sexy, but gosh, Magnum, you're moving over. Uh, Car wrecks pay the bills. I mean, they pay the bills. Thank you, Joanne. Trying to get situated here. Yeah, it cracks me up. Yeah, I do it. I actually might turn these lights off. That way it don't look as tacky. Yeah, I have to explain to some people.
Okay. Let's get started. Now, if you're on Zoom, please mute yourself until I call your case, and then once I call your case, we will get it going. I'll call this one because I got a match set here. 23 CI 54, Jared Blair and Amy Blair. Judge, can I have this second? He should be here shortly. Okay. One of the requests that she had was that Sunday is Mother's Day, and that's Father's week this weekend. Yeah, I don't think from Saturday night till Sunday. Saturday night to Sunday. Saturday at 6. Where are they going? Wednesday to Wednesday, or they go Monday to Monday, and then if there's no school, then they change at if they're going Monday to Monday, why don't they just pick up Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, and then that way when it comes Father's Day, he picks up Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I think that is Mother's Day there. Sunday morning at 10 o'clock and return. But it would just roll into it. But that would be the same for his father's the father. Sure. And I don't know how. And if it falls on your day, that's good. If it doesn't fall on your day, it'll catch up year to year. And I think I said if there was no school, then they exchange at the it was a police station at Huntsville. Yeah. She should do that. Okay. Thank you. What else we got there? Oh, this was just fine. Oh, okay. Hold on, I'll just wait until she gets here, make sure where we're at on everything else. Then you're gonna do what?
What else? So we're here just for status.
Other motions that they moved or?
Well, I mean, we were going to withdraw our motion for sharing vision presentation for school.
I think there was a motion pending by the county attorney in Johnson County to review child support.
Well, I always say his on a special day. I don't. Rick Hard, Mr. Endicott, he has one day a month that I do those on. So is everything moved?
We had some concerns we wanted to. Okay. It's not necessarily anything big.
Okay. We'll just wait till she gets here, and then we can weed them out. (24) CI 1139, Jason Robinette and Stephanie Looney.
We're here today on a review. Mr. Ryan and I talked and Mr. Robinette and spoke actually out in the hallway. We're going to just try if we could maybe have 30 days or so. I think we're going to try to sit down as a group and resolve this.
June 3rd.
That'd be fine.
Ms. Cisco. So Mr. Bourbon's withdrawn, correct?
That is Mr. Ryan. AJ. Yeah,
So I'm going to withdraw Mr. Bourbon. Mr. Ryan is for Mr. Robinette. Okay. So June 3rd, 2026 at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Ms. Cisco.
I'll take care of it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize for being
No problem.
so dirty.
It's all right. We're shorting. Okay. 25 CI 763, Jeffrey Lambert and Jennifer Cordell. That'll be sustained. We'll give you that judgment. I don't even know what they have. Not here. If we get them here, that way we can work on getting you paid.
That's fine.
Motion.
I sent him my motion, and it didn't come back to me. So I don't know. The address I used, I guess, was the address of 75, the reason for it, 1356, 3057.
Motion to tell attorney fees sustained, convert to judgment in amount of the
1577.
state interest. You don't need to come, you won't need to come back, set June 3rd. Because I know you'll be here, so
Be here anyway.
at 9.
You want me to go ahead and put that date in
No,
my order?
no.
Okay.
I don't want to make it look like you're doing something
Okay.
outside.
I'll just change it all the rest of my motion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
.26 CI 272, Emma Den and Joseph Fisher.
Your Honor, I'm here on that case. I think this is Mr. Cisco's motion. But we are set next week for an evidentiary hearing on this case. And I think yesterday, Mr. Cisco and I spoke, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Eugene, but we just agreed I would send him some responses to that discovery, what I have, by next week, and we'll take care of everything at the hearing that's already scheduled.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
What time's that? What day is that hearing set?
I think it's the
Day
14th.
14th at 1 o'clock?
It is the 14th, Your Honor, yes. And I think you gave us an hour, I think.
Yes. So are you going to be able to have all the discovery and everything done by that point?
I think we've got enough. We spoke about it yesterday, and we've agreed that I'm going to send what I have, and we can discuss the rest of it at the hearing.
We'll just take up all issues on the 14th.
All right, thank you, Judge. That's all I have, if I could be excused.
Yes.
Me too, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
'23 CI7.
That was a yeah. See, that was really a nothing burger. He's a really good judge. I really like him. He's just a real good fella. I was a big supporter when he ran for office. So he's a good guy. It's just a discovery. Yeah, the names. This is public record. It's a divorce. It's public record. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's a public record. It's not a juvenile case. It's a divorce. Anybody can go in and look at these proceedings. Now, if I would have been taking testimony, I wouldn't have done that. It was just a simple hearing, just to kind of show you there's a lot of different processes. A lot of times a lawyer will have a hearing, like none of our clients were there because they didn't need to be. It took 2 minutes. So I try to show people as much as I can what goes on in the court system. And so that's why a lot of times no, this is a little different one. So this case involves a fella has a baby mama, and she's filed a couple of EPOs on people. No, yeah, this is a divorce. So, and there's a lot of the complaints I get, and a lot of people when they complain on here and on these platforms, one of the big things they'll say is their lawyer isn't doing anything. See, so you just saw a little episode here where a lawyer actually works, but nobody really knows about it. My client, she don't know what that means, but they don't know that lawyers actually work. They might attend phone conferences like I just talked to I talked to my client 2 or 3 times, talked to the mother. I talked to that lawyer once for about 10 minutes we talked. So people don't always know their lawyers are working. And so this little hearing took 2 minutes, but some lawyers like now she did. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that's true. On YT, someone makes that good comment. Most of the work that you do, you never know about it. They're picking up the phone, they're trying to coordinate, they're working, they're trying to facilitate. Like me and this lawyer will probably talk one more time before the hearing. I'm going to talk probably a couple times to my client. That's work. It's still work. Now he paid me well. He paid me very well. So you know, I've read all the documents, and I think we're going to get together probably Thursday to talk about this case. So, and I'm going to map out a little strategy. These cases really aren't much. He wants full custody. Like he wants her to have a very controlled visitation. So what I have to do is I have to prove that she is unfit. I told the lawyer that she has a history of substance use, and I made that statement in my response, I also responded that there's environmental concerns in the home, so I'm going to ask for a home evaluation. Um, I'm going to ask that everybody that the lady be urine screened. Now, the lawyer's going to throw that right back at me, which is okay. And I told my client, I said, now, when I make these allegations, they're going to come right back at you with the same allegations. He said, well, that's fine. And I always tell my clients, when you make allegations of substance use, they're always going to use that against you, and they'll say it again. They'll do it to you. So you just got to be careful. No, this one won't get mediated because they got their heels dug in. This is Eugene. Yeah, you got to make sure your house is clean. Yeah, you got to make sure your house is clean. Exculpatory evidence should be turned over during discovery, right? Anything you plan to use at trial. So yeah, this is a case where they're fighting over control of a child. Those things hardly ever settle. And I always try to educate my clients, unless the mother is really bad, they're going to get some visitation. They're going to get some visitation. So, you know. Yeah, I always tell my client, once I throw that stone, you got to make sure you're clean. What's up, Casper? How are you? Guys, if you're looking in on me from YT, FB, give me a shout out. The family law is very Yeah, it should be a comment in the YT says it should be a wake-up call. All these things should be a wake-up call, but that problem with substance use is such a big issue. Most of these things aren't wake-up calls. They should be, you know. She already has supervised visits right now. The visits right now are supervised through one of the local agencies here. So, it should be a wake-up call, but it isn't. Most of the time, it's not. People in the throes of some kind of substance use issue, um, it's a horrible thing. You'd think people would straighten up, but they don't. Most of the time, they don't, and they'll lose their kids over it usually. Got these daggone eye boogers in my eyes. But now I like family law. A lot of people have a real jaded outlook on family law, and it's not always weights to the guy. I had a comment earlier that it always is weighted to the men or to the women, and that's not true. Usually custody comes down to women because, listen, logically, men are almost always gone working, typically. Now, that's not always the case nowadays. A lot of lazy men out there, but generally, men are the ones that are gone away. Women no, 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 that's not true. Someone in the YT, no, 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 that's not what I said. What I did say is that a lot of times when there's allegations, they're almost always true, but they're true on both sides usually. I hardly ever see Well, I do see it a lot where there's only one person using, but when those allegations are thrown out there, and in fact, I think there might be some criminal history on this person. Um, so what I am saying is that when it comes to custody, the mother almost always has the mother almost always has the upper hand because they're the ones that most likely are caring for the child. And, they're the ones that are bathing the child. They're the one getting it ready for school. They're the one that's taking it to the doctor. They do all of that. And so that a guy that's gone to work during the course of the day don't have a chance to do all that. So as a general rule, now it doesn't apply to everybody. So if you're watching me on YT, you gotta understand, I'm not saying that in every case, but as a general rule, the guy ain't around to do the day to day, and so they're already in a hole when it comes to visiting. So it's not it's not always the case. What's up, senor? It's not always the case. And now I have counseling at 9:30. So dark horse, if there's no discovery, then that's a problem for you. You need to get to the judge. Sometimes people don't have things. You can ask for discovery. Someone's complaining about discovery being delayed in a case. You can always ask for discovery, but the other side doesn't have it, they don't have it. But what you've gotta do as a lawyer is make a record that you asked for it, so that way they can't use it against you at trial. If you ask for it and they say they don't have it, they can't just magically come up with it and use it against you. That's why you ask for it in writing, and I've done that. I covered my ass so that way when we have trial, when it comes to witness list, if they don't tell me who all's going to show up as a witness, if they try to spring somebody on me, they can't do that. So the I think what you're I'm not sure what you're talking about, YT. You're not right. I don't know who there no one's being vindictive. The fella just wants to have more visits. He's afraid that his child is in an unsafe situation, so he wants to have more control over the child. So, it's not that kind of a case. No one is vindictive. He just reasonably believes that the child is in an unsafe situation. That's all. Yeah, it's not a vindictive. If even if stuff is in your name in a marriage, that doesn't mean you get everything. A lot of people think that just because it's in your name doesn't mean you're going to get it in a divorce. You probably might have to split it, depending on how long you was married. Depends on how long you was married. That's a big factor. Okay, listen to me. If there's no discovery, then there's no discovery. They can't use anything against you at trial. Leave it alone. It's good for you. If you filed motions for discovery and they say there ain't none, then good. You go with your discovery. You go with what you've got. And then they can't surprise you during a trial. That's what discovery motions are for. There might not be, like in this case I've got, the lady said she'll send me what she has, and that's fine. I don't get all rustled up over it. She's gonna she's gonna send me what she's got, and, you know, well, and that's true in YT. She did make a statement, but, I don't know it either. Lawyers don't know everything when they put well, I filed a response, and in my response, I alleged all kinds of things. I alleged substance use. I alleged poor environmental issues in the home. I mentioned unsavory characters in the premises. I don't know any of that for fact. So that's why you have a hearing. And that's why you have people come to court. And that's why you get a chance to question them. I don't know any of that for fact. But I have a reason to believe it's true because my client said it is. I don't know. I'm not a truth soothsayer. I can't look in somebody's brain or mind. So, that's why you have court. That's why you have court. What's up, Chuck? Well, Dark Horse, good luck with that. I doubt if they charge you with murder, I doubt they're going to dismiss them. I don't think they're going to do that. That's a pretty heavy charge for them just to say they're going to dismiss it. I wouldn't be holding my breath on that. Someone in the chat on the TT says that they're hoping that murder charges will be dismissed because they haven't complied with discovery. That's probably not going to happen. That'd be 30. Someone wants to know in a chat, is 30 days inpatient treatment enough for a substance use issue? It's barely scratches the surface. If someone has a long history of substance use, 1 month is just basically a detox. And then you have to really get to long-term treatment. If they've been at it for more than a year, yeah, they're going to have to go into long-term treatment. Aftercare, do a good aftercare program. But no, 1 month is just a start. Personal legal advice, if you wanna book a call. Yeah, if you wanna book a call, I'll give you a personal attention. Guys, I've got books on my page. Go to my link, look at my merchandise. You can see some of my merchandise hanging up here. Uh, yeah, it happens. Yeah, she needs to be in a residential, long-term residential treatment facility. Someone that relapses as soon as they get out of a 30-day treatment program needs to be in a long-term lockdown facility for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. That would be my suggestion. Yep, it's terrible. Okay, Dark Horse, no more. That's enough. That's enough, Dark Horse. I've already talked to you about your discovery woes. You keep saying the same thing over and over. but I doubt that it's going to get dismissed. I'm just giving you what I think to be true. You don't have to like what I say, but I think based on um someone in YT wants to know if I think the government has a case against Comey. That's a iffy case. I probably, as a prosecutor, would not have brought that case. I don't like James Comey. I think he is a bad cop. I think he did not. Um, I just think he's a bad cop. So I'll say that. But if the question is, do I think the government has a case? Uh, I think it's going to be difficult for them to prove. But you got to understand, and you need to listen to this. If you ask me, so I'm going to tell you. The government doesn't have to prove what was inside his mind when he scattered those shells out, and he made that, that statement he made with those seashells. He says he didn't do it. He says he found them. So that's going to be their first problem. The second problem is they don't have to prove that he believed that's what that said or that's what that meant. They have to only prove the government only has to prove that a reasonable person would believe that 86, 46, or 47, whatever it was, means what they think it means, right? They don't have to prove that Comey believed it, but just the reasonable person would have believed it. I think their bigger problem is proving that he did it. I just don't, unless there's some video that shows him doing it. I don't think they can do that. I think it's a bad case for the government. I would have never brought it. I think it makes the government look uh, tick-tacky. I mean, that's just my legal analysis. I don't like him, but my legal analysis is I wouldn't have brought it. I wouldn't have worried about it. It's a hard take. And when you lose those kind of cases, I think it ruins your credibility. But I see a lot of prosecutors do it no matter where they're at. Prosecutors will prosecute bad cases, and it makes them look bad when they lose those bad cases. It just makes them look bad, and it ruins their credibility. So I think in Comey's case, it was a bad. I wouldn't have taken it. So whether or not, what's up, Amanda Lee? How are you? You're supposed to send me a link. I'm supposed to have a link to my class. What's up, Connie? On DR, if you got the penalty, the ultimate penalty, it can take several years because you're entitled to. Now, in this guy's case, in this fella's, the FedEx or whatever he was, a UPS driver, whatever he was, that did that to that little girl. I'm trying to be careful because some of these platforms don't like you to say a lot of stuff, so I'm trying to be cautious. What that guy did to the girl, see, he pled guilty. So there's not really much appeal on his guilt or innocence. Usually that's what takes up most of the time is you get to appeal the evidence. If there's new evidence, you get to bring it into an appeal. If you think somebody did something wrong, you get a chance to challenge the procedure. Well, you don't have to worry about that with this dude because he pled guilty. The only issue is if they properly carried out the trial when it comes to that penalty. If there were any big mistakes made in the penalty phase. And when I looked, and I didn't look at it much, those kind of cases bother me. There's no way I could have listened to that tape. There's no way I could have listened to it. I don't even when I have really, really bad cases and clients do stuff really bad, it's hard for me to read them. Now I'll represent anybody because I believe that everyone has a chance, a right to be represented. But it would have been hard for me to listen to that as a juror. I just don't know that I could have. And so what the challenge is going to be is but see, 11 years, you're looking at it differently. This is not, they won't be able to challenge the guilt. Most of the time that's spent on death row is taken up on the challenge of the trial or the guilt. 'Cause you don't in this case, there isn't a challenge to the guilt. So yeah, the average is one thing, but this is yeah, we hope he does. This is not the average death penalty case, though, because they're not arguing the stuff that you normally would argue. You can't bring in the trial because he pled. It was a guilty plea. And as far as I know, there's no challenges to the coercion. Um, I don't think his plea was coerced. I don't hear them making that challenge. He did it of his own free will. Now, if those things pop up, then of course that takes the appeal process longer. So I don't think there's any question that he confessed. Now, the confession, I don't think there's any issues with the confession either. And that's always a problem. In these trials where these people are found guilty or they use their statements against them, that can be a big thing, but I don't hear that here. I don't think that's part of this case. So I don't know what they would be appealing other than that particular hearing that went on about. Yeah, K-Rob, you're right. The only delay will be the actual mechanics of getting him through the line. I don't think there's going to be much of a legal challenge. But Florida used to be Texas was the back daddy, but now Florida has really, I think Florida's getting about 7 a year out. I think they're really stepped up their game. Now I did a podcast with a priest. I have vacillated back and forth on the penalty. I believe that you should give someone an option. Let them choose. And I know you're going to come at me. Well, the victims didn't have a chance. Well, yeah, true. But in this guy's case, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. I was looking for a link. I don't see one.
Well, it's because I didn't see one yet. I was just calling to let you know that I only have one here so far. This is the group. Most of them come at 11.
Well, let's do 11. Hey,
Okay.
well, because I was going to do some, I was going to do something on treatment planning. This was going to be my topic.
Okay.
Can he do a Zoom? I'm not going to ask him to hang around, but if he can do a Zoom and pop in, that would be fine. If not,
He's got to go to work. That's the reason I called.
well, okay. Well, let's,
I've
if you
got worksheets. I
give
can
him a
get
worksheet and make sure he does them and turns them in. I'm always worried about those worksheets, them not turning them in.
done.
So,
No, I've got them all.
Okay. All right, baby. Thank you. And we'll be ready for 11.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
I was wondering, she didn't send me a link. I'm like, I'm all dressed up, man. So I've got counseling at 11 o'clock. We're going to do some treatment planning, a different kind of treatment planning. Uh, so yeah, I think, and I've thought about a lot. I used to be full on fry them, get rid of them. But the more I've been in the legal field, what I do see is there's a lot of people, and I absolutely believe this. There's a lot of people that have been put to death and were innocent, at least of that crime. Now, I don't think you wake up one morning, then all of a sudden hit the lottery. I mean, not hit the lottery. That's a bad way to say it. I don't think you wake up one morning and all of a sudden stick your foot in a big pile of mess and create the most horrific crime like this dude. I'm still not convinced that this little girl was his first victim. I am not convinced of that. But I know you got to start somewhere, right? If you're a psycho, maniac, you probably start somewhere. I'm just not convinced that this is his first job. So so I guess my point is the more I see, the more I've been around, and I absolutely know people have been put to death that were not guilty of that particular crime. Sometimes you have career criminals who get fingered by a cop and they use all kinds of bad techniques to get confessions and introduce evidence. Paid informants is the worst thing that we do in our court system, if you want my opinion. Paying an informant is like the worst. It's the worst thing because then you're motivated. The scumbag sitting in jail is motivated. You don't know how many jailhouse confessions told by another person are used in a court case because the prosecutor, see, some prosecutors offer these people money for their testimony, and it's just very shady. And there are a lot of people in prison right now for those types of things. So knowing all of that, it would be hard for me to pull the lever. I would rather that person choose. And some people want to go. They don't want to sit in prison. I give the option. A- Exactly. Exactly. And they're motivated. And there's a lot of people in prison for that particular stuff. They make up this faulty blood spatter evidence as bullshit. All of that stuff that they use now is kind of like pseudoscience. It's almost science. It looks like science. And if you get an expert that's really good with jurors, they can make you think that that blood splatter and all of that stuff they use, fingerprints and all that stuff is absolute 100% science. It ain't. Eyewitness testimony is the worst testimony in the world. And a lot of people are put away on eyewitness testimony. So when you know all that, and you understand it, you got to ask yourself, because it happens, would you pull the lever? Now, on this particular cat, I'd have no problem pulling the lever. That's zero problem because we've got tape recordings of him. He did it. There's just no doubt about it. I'd have no problem pulling that lever. But now, that's to me a case by case. I tend to let the people decide for themselves. Because I think that's the way I come down on it. Now I'm not like the priest. That priest really internalizes it, and he believes it is we the people. We the people is him, and to be consistent with what his belief system is, he can't abide by it. He can't uphold it, which is okay with me. And I never thought about it that way until I talked to him. And that's why I like doing some of this stuff I do. So but it happens. Innocent people are put in prison all the time. Now, again, so as a prosecutor, what's up, crazy cat lady? As a lawyer that has set in on these, so the question is, as when I prosecuted people, and I did a lot of it, lower level stuff, a lot of felonies, some lower level felonies, some really bad stuff. The person that I would prosecute maybe didn't do that thing that they were before me on, but they had a rap sheet a mile long, and it's hard to ignore that. But as a lawyer, as prosecutor, you have to ignore all that. Just because they did all this slew of other things doesn't necessarily mean they did that thing that you have in front of you now. And that's tough. And a lot of lawyers will say, "Oh, hell, they probably did it." I've seen situations where lawyers were paid through the court to represent somebody, and that is exactly what they thinking is. Oh, they probably did it. I don't have to work as hard because they probably did it. That's pretty shitty. So I gave it a lot of thought, you know, and people get mad. Boy, Elizabeth got mad at me, said, Could you represent this guy?" I said, "Yeah, I could. He deserves the constitutional rights that we all deserve. Once we lay down the Constitution, and this is the way I try to put it, once we lay down the Constitution in a criminal case for those people that we absolutely know are guilty, once we lay that down, then you start it makes it easier it makes it easier to lay down the Constitution on someone that's maybe in the gray area, because it's a it creeps. Once you allow it to lay down, then you find other reasons to lay it down, and I'm just not a fan of laying it down, you know? Um, I know that's hard for people to wrap around their brain, but oh, I couldn't listen to it. There's no way when they said they were gonna show that, I couldn't watch the and I love trials. That is a trial, I could have watched it. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And, so this that guy can't go away quick enough. So, and, but there are a lot of people, um, he'll probably be he'll probably be consumed by the butt pirates anyway, is what I someone wants to know if I ever thought about running for judge. I did run for judge once. I got my ass kicked. And hopefully he'll be consumed by the butt pirates and his life will be miserable. And somehow, yeah, okay, Rob, I see that. I mean, um, see, I believe I'm a lawyer that recognizes the process. I don't analyze if the person was guilty or not. Um, if I take a case, I try not to look at that. I look at the process. And so I'm a lawyer who tries to look at the process and not really, if in a criminal case or even in a civil matter, it's not my concern that someone did what they're accused of doing. I just want to make sure the process is being followed. If the evidence stacks up. You know, the goal isn't to get an acquittal. I mean, you want that, but you just want to make sure the process is followed. And then you know, you do what you do. Oh man, I forgot my lights. I forgot to blingy blingy. I loved prosecuting. It was easy. Prosecuting was the easiest job I ever had as a lawyer. It was easy. It was shamefully easy. I made a lot of money as prosecutor. They paid me about 90 grand a year to go and be Monty Hall. And if you all know anything about the old time game shows, it's Monty Hall was on Let's Make a Deal. I walked in every morning. I just made deals. It's the easiest job in the world. You talk to a cop, you talk to victims, you talk to families, and then you make a deal. Talk to the other lawyer. If they had one, a lot of times people didn't have a lawyer. I always encouraged people to get out and get a lawyer. I hated negotiating with a defendant that didn't have a lawyer. I absolutely hated it. I didn't want anybody to think I was taking advantage of them. God, it is coming down at the rain right now still. All right, guys, I'm going to leave my YT and my FB feed. I don't like it to go very long. I'm trying to edit these things down when they're on my YT. Although it's hard to edit some of the good ones, and this might be a good one. I'm just going to let it roll. So if you get a chance, TT, hang around because I'll be here. My YT and FB, I'm going to sign out. Guys, listen, and I'm speaking just to you on the YT and FB right now. If life and law collide in your world and you don't know what to do, maybe you got a problem you're embarrassed about, you don't want to talk to a lawyer, you can always give me a holler. You can book a call, take a look at my merchandise, take a look at my link, and there might be something you can use, guys. So until then, if life and law collide in your world, give me a holler. Give me a holler. That's what you do. Thank you, guys, again. Holler and faller, as BB says. Now, this is always the problem. When I go to disconnect from this thing, it seems like they're always moving the disconnect button. And Elizabeth said people are laughing at me when I do this. So I'm going to try it again. In stream.